Today, I want to dive into a great subject as it pertains to music production. Right now, I'm going through my process of writing and recording my new project, Kingdom Radio. And as I'm doing that, I want to share keys and techniques and things that I use to create my projects. And so today, I want to talk about creating surprises within your song. So I'm going to touch a little bit just on form. Of course, we have verse, but we have the intro, of course, and depending on what genre it is, I know in pop they usually have something. They usually have a very short intro. Back in the day, 70s and maybe 80s and 90s, they had longer intros, but today they have very short. I'm talking about seconds, and then they're straight into the verse or whatever part has come first. So you have your intro, you have your verse, you have your chorus. You might have a pre-chorus depending on if that's included, and then back to another verse, a bridge, and then maybe an outro or some new part or maybe just restate the chorus. So that's a basic form. But what I want you to think about as you are, maybe you've already finished writing, your lyrics and your verse, chorus, and all those kind of things. You finished doing that, but now I want you to think about, how can I create surprises within this song, and how can I create those surprises? And I'm going to answer that for you. I'm going to give you some tips, that you can take today. And so, what I would do vocally, I'm going to say vocally, just off the bat, you can create, some backgrounds and some fill-ins, and as along when you're have the verse, when the verse is being sung, there are places where you can have harmony. You can fill in those spaces with either with a run or a certain word. This is just one way that you can create some surprises in your songs. You can also do this during the chorus, because if your chorus, let's just say your chorus is a unison line, and let's just say you have it an octave lower, and maybe you have an octave above where the main vocal is, but it's a unison line, which is a common thing. Everybody doesn't use harmony in every song. Sometimes it's just a very strong unison line, and you can make that thick by doubling the vocals. By the way, which is how people do it. Some people do it by plugins as well. It's escaping me what they would use. A doubler, to make the vocal thicker. But anyway, just one way you can create surprises in your song. There are fill-ins, there are harmony lines you can sing, certain words you can sing, certain runs you can sing, and that can happen during the verse. It can happen during the chorus. So pick your spots. Another thing that you can do, I think is very powerful, is that you can introduce new sounds as the song goes on. So let's just say for the intro, it's very sparse. Not sparse, but it's not. The instrumentation is very limited. Maybe it's just keys and percussion or something like that. Nothing too complicated that's going on. And so when the verse starts, you bring in the bass. So you bring in, something else, maybe that's playing the kind of melody, or you can just have a pad, right? You just have a pad, because maybe during the intro, maybe you just have some type of melodic line and percussion, but nothing that's too busy. And so you really bring things in on the verse. And definitely, let's just say you don't have a pre-chorus in this particular song, but definitely during the chorus is where you really want to bring in more instruments. And so again, for the verse, you can bring in, have keys, you can have percussion, you can have the bass, and maybe you just have that, and maybe some other type of sound, pad sound that's just in the back, but it's more pushback in the mix. But when the chorus comes in, you can bring in guitar, you can bring in some other type of line. Definitely, I would definitely suggest having some type of counter melody that's happening there, but thicken up your sound. I know I have different, as far as keys is concerned. I am a pianist and a keyboardist. Sometimes I will have a piano sound, and I'll have some type of sound going on, some type of other pad that's just holding out, you know what I mean? So I'll have different things going on to really thicken up the sound and to create more surprises. So during the chorus, you'll thicken up the sound. You'll have electric keyboard, in there. Maybe you have a piano sound. There are different things that are going on during the chorus. And so, and what you could do now coming out of that is that you can have a lot of instruments or the whole thing drop out. A lot of times I've heard on plenty of songs where coming out of the chorus, you know, the music drops out. Maybe it's just a vocal and maybe some type of pad. That's it. And then when the next verse comes in, the instruments come back in, and there's something new there for your ear to lock onto. And so I want to open you up to this idea. I don't think it's not new, but I want to bring your attention to this technique. Another thing that I hear a lot in songs is that they do, you know, certain breaks before a new section comes in. They may do a break. Everything drops out. Maybe the vocal does something or some type of run. That happens pretty often. You know, to really just get your ear prepared for this new section. And that's another way to do it. Sometimes it's not a new sound. Sometimes it's not a new sound that you're introducing, but it's just you're doing a break and refreshing the ear, refreshing the palate, if you will, and then bringing in this new section. All right. So I want to, you know, really have you to. I want to bring this to your attention, number one, and I want you to really implement this technique into your next song. New ideas, keeping the listener on their toes and keeping them excited about what's coming next, what new sound is coming next. You can do this vocally. You can also do this with you know, if you really understand music, you know, you can also do this with passing chords, with chords themselves. You can do this with sounds. You can do this with percussion. There are different ways to introduce or to keep new sounds and to keep the listener interested in what's going on in your song. And so, you know, take these good tips and techniques and implement these techniques into your next song. All right. I want to thank you so much for checking this out. I hope you're having a wonderful day. If you're not having a wonderful day, you can change that by your mindset. Thanks so much. Tony King out.